Before we get into this video is sponsored by Pro Guides. If you are dedicated to improving as a player, I highly recommend you check them out. Link in the description. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mickey C, aka TheLoLHounds, and today we have a build guide on the highest ranked Jax main on the Korean server, who is currently ranked 27 in Challenger, which for such a strong server is very impressive, as he just plays the one champion. He has got over 300 games this season on Jax. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this video is because this Jax player actually goes with a slightly different type of build to what most Jax mains are currently going with. Basically, instead of buying Blade of the Rune King or Hextech Gunblade, he goes with Titanic Hydra instead. This video will focus on his runes, masteries, item build, and skill order. So without further ado, let's do this. So as you expect, he plays Jax in the top lane, and his summoner spells are Flash and TP. Runes and masteries. Now his runes and masteries are actually pretty interesting. His masteries, he goes with a Thunderlord's Decree page, which is not very common for Jax. He goes with 12-18-0, and as you know, Thunderlords is a very good early game keystone, and because in Korea everything is focused so much on winning that early game, that is why he goes with Thunderlords. Also at level 1, it is pretty easy to actually get that Thunderlords proc off with Jax if you start E, especially against melee champions, and it also helps a lot with Jax's early game, which is Jax's weakest point in the game. I will however point out that in the last 5 games or so on Jax, he has started using the Fervor of Battle page that you usually see most Jax players use. 18-0-12, Fervor is a much better late game keystone. So essentially, for the early game you go with Thunderlords, and for the late game you should go with Fervor. It depends what you prefer. Now onto his runes, and with these runes he's actually got quite a bit of everything, to be honest. Against 80 champs he goes with 680 reds, 3 attack speed reds, 9 armor yellows, 9 CDR blues, 1 attack speed quint, and 2 armor quints. Against AP champions he uses 680 reds, 3 attack speed reds, 9 health per level yellows, 9 magic resist blues, 1 attack speed quint, and 2 armor quints. So yeah, you can definitely see he is very creative with his runes. Now onto his item build. So as I said before, he favors Titanic Hydra over items such as Blade of the Rune King or Hextech Gunblade. Starting items, however, would mostly be a Corrupting Potion, although against 80 bully champions such as Pantheon and Quinn, and probably also Jace, he would either start with Cloth Armor with pots or a Doran Shield. As for his first back, against those 80 bully champs, he would rush a Ninja Tabbies as quick as possible. Apart from that though, he often gets a Doran's Blade along with his Corrupting Potion, which he started with, and looks to start to build towards a Jaram's Fist. Correct me if I pronounce that wrong, or a Phage. Both those items are built out of a longsword and a ruby crystal, so that makes it easy. I should however mention he never gets an early Sheen or Stinger. He much prefers building into that Titanic Hydra first rather than the Trinity Force, and if he does decide to go with the Trinity Force first, he would always get the Phage as his first component before the Sheen and Stinger. That moves on to his core build, which would be Titanic Hydra, Ninja Tabbies or Merc Treads, but mostly Ninja Tabbies, Trinity Force, and a Guardian Angel. Most of his games would then be over by that time. He wouldn't get any more items. However, an example of a full build would be Titanic Hydra, Ninja Tabbies, Triforce, GA, Randuin's Omen, and a Spirit Visage. The main reason why I think he prefers this build over the standard Blade of the Ruined King build is because Jax's biggest strength is split pushing, and with Titanic Hydra you can push waves in a lot quicker. It also makes Jax a lot more tankier, especially in the early game, which, as I said before, is Jax's weakest point in the game. And so I think he prefers the tankier stats you get with Titanic Hydra over something like Blade of the Ruined King, which gives you lifesteal and attack speed, and you can still do a lot of damage and potentially even more burst damage thanks to the active of Hydra. Other items he would consider would be more of Malmortius against AP burst champs, Sterix Gauge against AD burst champs, and a Mercurial Scimitar for the QSS if he needs it. Skill order, he would start E, get Q level 2 and W level 3, max W first, Q second, E third, and his ult whenever he can. That pretty much does it for the build, and I honestly think this may be the best way to build Jax at the moment, and it does make a lot of sense since Jax is such a good split pusher, and I feel like this is a much better build for split pushing. As for this guy's playstyle, he does seem to play fairly aggressive early on in the laning phase and takes a lot of trades, and most of the time he actually wins those trades, but I guess that's just his awesome mechanics on the champion because he's played the champion so much. But after 20 minutes he always goes bot lane while he has his TP up and looks to split push as often as possible, which is what you should be doing on Jax. Anyway, that does it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That is the highest ranked Jax on the Korean server. If you enjoyed this video, drop that like button, and as always, have a nice day.
Respawning soon.